Redeemer kids, welcome back to Sign Language Worship. We are on our 4th video of Here I Am to Worship. I'm so glad you've joined us. If you haven't seen the first 3 videos, check back on the playlist or ask Mom and Dad to help you find it on YouTube or Facebook. You'll need to look at those other videos so you can learn the signs. We're going to do a few of them in today's verse, and you'll need to know them all to do the song tomorrow. So for those of you who have, we're going to get started on the bridge, which is kind of like another chorus. And it's only 2 lines. It says, I will never know how much it cost to see my sin upon that cross. This is a verse that will almost always make me cry when I sing it. And I'm going to tell you why. But I'm going to do the signs as we do. So we're going to point, I will never know. So for never, your right hand is flat here. You're going to use it to draw a question mark until it ends up facing to the side instead in front of you. So this is never. I'll never know. All your fingers together, right at your head. I'll never know. How much? How much we did in one of the other songs we did. So you have all your fingers together and you're going to pull them apart. That's how much. If it was only a little bit or a lot. So this is how much it cost. So if you want to know how much something costs, you want to know how much you're going to pay for it. So cost is take your pointer finger and just kind of flick it down your hand like this. Think of it as just flicking off the coins and the money to pay for things. So I'll never know how much it cost to see, we learned that in verse 1, see my sin. Sin, you make 2 little hooks with your fingers, and you're just going to kind of make little circles and pull towards you. This is sin. We'll get to that in a minute. To see my sin upon, so your left hand is flat, your right hand just comes and taps it, it's on there. Okay? To see my sin upon that cross. So for cross, you're going to make a C with your hand, and you're just going to draw a cross in the air in front of your face. So those are the signs. I'll never know how much it cost to see my sin upon that cross. Now I'm going to talk about what those words mean. You see, sin, remember, to make the sign for sin, you make little hooks. And sin is like hooks in our lives. Sin is everything that we say and do and think that wants to pull us away from God. So sin, think of those hooks kind of grabbing onto your soul and pulling you away from God. Okay? It's pulling. So our sin pulls us away from God. We've been talking about how God was light, He was beautiful, He's the King, He's glorious. And because He's all of those things, sin has no hooks on Him. Sin can't touch Him. God is holy and perfect. Unfortunately, we're not. So we have sin in our lives. Sin is fighting with my brother or sister. Sin is telling a little white lie. Sin is disobeying Mom and Dad. Sin is getting grumpy and saying things you shouldn't. Sin is wanting something someone else has. Sin is being angry at somebody and wanting to hurt them. All of those things. And you and I, we do those every single day. Those are all hooks that get into our soul, they get into our hearts and our minds, and they want to pull us away from God. Because sin has power. It can pull us away from God. If we have even one hook of sin in our life, we can't be with God. But Jesus loved us. Remember in verse 2, we talked about how He came to the earth, and the reason He came was love. So He came because He loved us. But He died on the cross because He loved us even more. You see, when Jesus died on the cross, all those little sin hooks that separate you and I from God, Jesus said, I'm going to take those sin hooks. I want everybody I love, every person who ever lived, to be with God. And so I'm going to take those sin hooks, and they're going to prick on me instead. So when Jesus died on the cross, think about every little thing that you've ever done wrong. All those little hooks on Jesus instead. And they hurt him. It wasn't just your hooks. It wasn't just mine. It was sin from every single person who had ever lived or ever will live. Jesus took all of those sin hooks. And because God is holy, God couldn't even look at Jesus anymore. That's how much it cost him, guys. It cost him everything. His own Father couldn't even look at him. That's how much he loves you. And when we say we'll never know how much it cost for Jesus to take all those sin hooks out of our lives and take the punishment for them himself, we'll never, ever understand it. So all we can do is say thank you. Now, if you've never heard of this before, if you don't understand what I'm talking about, I want you to call me, okay? You can call me. You can get Mom and Dad to help you message me on Facebook. If none of that works, you can call the church and you can ask them to have Mrs. Callie or Miss Vivian give you a call, because we want to talk to you about this. Jesus took the punishment for all those sin hooks. But you know what? Unless we let him take that punishment, those sin hooks are still in us, and they're going to separate us from God. So we want to have a chance to talk to you, to tell you how you can get rid of that sin in your life and accept the wonderful, incredible, mind-blowing gift that Jesus gave us when he died on that cross. So this is another reason I love to use sign language when I sing, because to see the sign like sin and the cross and how much it helps me get a bigger picture of what those words mean. So this week when you're practicing, I want you guys to think about that, okay? And if you have any questions at all, call us, okay? Anytime. I would love to talk to you on the phone about this. I would love to sit on your porch in the middle of winter, socially distanced with masks on. It doesn't matter, because we love you too. So, I'm about to cry. I'm going to call it quits for today, guys. Love you. And we'll see you again tomorrow, okay? Bye.